What happens when you take a weak storyline, add a WWE star whose expressions resembles that of a G.I. Joe action figure, and also add in 3 kids who basically wreak havoc everywhere. You get Playing with Fire and an audience left wondering, what did they just see? It is not new for WWE superstars to make their way into Hollywood movies. After all, you have Dwayne Johnson, you have Dave Bautista, and you also have John Cena. The larger than life and over the top acting sequences, or rather acting scenes in WWE, makes it somewhat of a natural transition to go into movies altogether. WWE is basically like a soap opera that never ends. So you end up coming across several WWE stars who basically make their way into Hollywood movies. Some of them work, some of them don't. Unfortunately, this movie comes in the latter half of the segment. This movie is directed by Andy Fickman, who also directed Game Plan, featuring Dwayne Johnson, and Race to Witch Mountain, also featuring Dwayne Johnson. You might have come across a lot of the car memes such as this. These actually come from Race to Witch Mountain. The movie Playing with Fire basically revolves around a group of firefighters.
I'm a smoke jumper, which is like a firefighter but way cooler.
What does a smoke jumper do?
Oh, we jump into fires to fight them.
Firemen fight fires.
Listen, stop, I don't have time.
Fine. The movie revolves around a group of smoke jumpers who rescue 3 siblings and end up having to babysit them.
Is that all you guys got?
Yep, that's pretty much it.
Huh? This is a bummer, man. That's a bummer.
The movie lasts for about an hour and a half, which in itself isn't very long. But despite that short duration, the movie does seem to lag at points because there isn't anything else to write about. First up, we have no-nonsense and emotionless Jake, played by John Cena. He's the superintendent of a remote fire depot and he's pretty much looking to get a promotion. He wears a fanny pack.
This is a FUPA.
Did you just say FUPA?
Fire utility pouch apparatus? Yes.
And people around him describe him as
really fit, muscly, like sculptured face and clean cut, kind of somehow always has a tan guy in uniform kind of thing, which I don't know. I'm not into that kind of thing.
You must be wondering who's the frog lady. We'll get to her in a bit. Jake leads his crew of 6 smoke jumpers and he absolutely hates kids, or rather avoids them as much as he can. If you talk about Jake's crew, there isn't really much to say. Firstly, out of the group of 6 smoke jumpers, 3 of them quit. Of the 3 that remained, you have easily excitable and hypersensitive Mark.
You gotta watch your tone, little sister.
Or what?
Or what? ¿Por qué?
Then you have the wrong quote guy, Rodrigo.
If there's gonna be any cooking done around here, it's gonna be done by moi. That's French for chef, by the way.
Who is also a terrible cook. And finally, you have the axe guy. Yeah, that's his actual character name, and I kid you not. Is it so hard to think of a name for a character who is there in a movie? He's a tall bearded dude who always keeps an axe with him, and he isn't much of a talker. Wonder if he's allowed to fly.
I don't even own a mace. I don't know where that came from.
Now you have the frog lady, Dr. Hicks. She basically lives near the fire depot and, as the name goes, is friends with frogs. Apart from this, she has a thing for Jake, which seems pretty obvious given the initial scene. And she is also...
Just because I'm the only woman in a 100-mile radius, right? I mean...
And now we have the 3 siblings who are troublemakers in their own way. If I give away their mischief, there isn't anything left for the next section. So let's dive into the movie. As with most movies, you start with a scene where the lead goes around doing his business, so you get a sense of their occupation and style. Jake and the gang put out a forest fire while Jake gets advances from a passerby's wife.
My husband sells insurance! Take me with you!
I'm literally standing right here.
The last time I remember a similar scene where the girl wanted to be whisked away was in Spider-Man 2. We then move on to the scene where half of Jake's crew splits, and immediately after that, there is a call for a fire rescue.
Get the chopper ready.
Having the wrong code guy Rodrigo operate a helicopter didn't quite turn out to be the right idea.
The button is jammed.
They find the three siblings, bring them over to the depot, and then eventually try connecting with their parents, who they mention is out for a vacation or a trip. And that's where things start to go hocus pocus. And there's also a Matrix scene in it. The eldest of the three siblings takes her brother and sister. They hijack an ATV, Jake gives chase, and Jake eventually finds out that the three siblings are actually orphans and will end up getting separated when they enter foster care. Jake and the gang soon start warming up to the three siblings, who in turn gets Jake and the Frog Lady together. They decide to celebrate the youngest sibling Zoe's birthday, and for the first time in the entire movie, the Axeman opens his mouth.
My little pony, friendship is magic.
This seems like one of those surprise auditions.
Girl, I'm in love with you. This ain't the honeymoon. Passing infatuation.
Guess someone will soon get a call from Disney.
Cause I know that I won't go speechless.
What is the biggest Jenga set that you have seen? Let me show you.
Don't make it fall. Look out.
When they were going about with the parties, the fire marshal then comes into the depot for a surprise visit, and also a representative from the foster care comes to take the siblings away. The siblings once again run away.
Here we go again.
And end up in a pretty bad state. Jake and the gang eventually rescue the siblings. After all, the movie wouldn't be complete without it, right? And they decide to adopt the siblings altogether. Now, the promotion that Jake was eyeing at, he gets it, but he rejects that to basically settle down. During the course of this movie, emotionless G.I. Joe Jake becomes a human. He gets married to the Frog Lady, all of them become a family, and that's where pretty much the story ends.
That all you guys got?
Yep, like I said, there isn't really anything else to it. To summarize this movie,
I got nothing.
this movie is purely meant to pass your time away without stressing your brain cells as to what is actually going on. If you haven't seen this movie already, there isn't really anything that you're missing out on, considering that I've already covered most of it during the course of this video. If you are a fan of John Cena, then you might want to give this movie a shot. But apart from that, I honestly draw a blank when I try to understand the intent behind this movie. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you like to stay notified on any time I upload new content, click on the subscribe button along with the notification icon. Feel free to leave your comments and suggestions down below. Stay tuned for more content, and in the meanwhile, stay safe and keep smiling.